mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the turtle monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is Chult of Personality, a Tomb of Annihilation campaign happening on Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Mini-Terrain Domain. And this is episode number 62, A Menagerie of Misfits, which will make sense when we get into the recap and you see what shape these characters are in after last session. Excuse me. A quick note, I have modified my whole streaming setup here, so I have multiple windows and locations to look at, so I keep forgetting where my camera is, so I apologize if it looks like I'm staring off into the distance. I'm not. Real quick, before I forget this, thank you to Monty DL for resubscribing for 3 months in a row for a 3-month streak there. And of course, Kaeryn getting in with the meta subscription to earn another Domain Devil. With those two, you are going to go from 14 up to 16. So what I'm going to do is look like I'm taking them away from you. But I'm going to give you I'm going to modify your bonus as soon as I figure out where it is. Let's see. Oh, here we go. That's right. I changed each stream. I do it differently. So we'll turn that off and turn this on. There you go. Make sure you got the proper number of domain dice there, or domain devils. Domain dice, domain devils, whatever we're calling them on whichever stream, are our way of letting you, the viewer, have an influence on the game. Through a $5 tip, a 500-bit donation, subscription, resubscription, raids, all that kind of stuff, the players will earn domain devils that can be used for rerolls. If you want to learn more about what those can do, you can watch the stream scroll down below, or you can type in the chat, ! Domain dice. Yes, there it goes. And that's how the players can use those domain dice. If you look down in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, just below M there, where Brilinya is, you will notice the Jasper's Game Day and Initiative Coffee Company logos. I'm very excited, as always, to promote Jasper's. But in particular, I'm excited because today I met with the committee, the planning group, whatever you want to call them. And we are in the stages. We are back with this year with Jasper's Game Week, a week-long streaming event happening here on Mini-Terrain Domain. And this year we're adding 20 additional hours to the stream, 5 days, 60 hours, 20 GMs, over 100 players, and I think it's safe to say thousands of dollars in prizes that will be raffled off, or that will be there'll be giveaways in the chat during the stream, and all of it to raise money for Jasper's Game Day, which all money that goes to Jasper's goes to benefit suicide crisis centers around the country. There is a link in the chat right now that if you click on, will take you right to the direct donation page for Jasper's. So in the coming weeks, you will be hearing a lot more about Jasper's. You can follow myself at MTD_Jake on Twitter, or you can follow Fenway, the teen DM, the founder of the organization, to stay up to date on all the really cool stuff happening with Jasper's, including some things that are moving to exclusively to online because of, if you're watching this live, you know what's going on in the world right now with quarantines and social distancing and self-quarantine and isolation and all that stuff. If you're watching this in the future, just look up March 2020. Things are weird, which makes it even weirder that we're playing a game where you're trying to solve the death curse plaguing the land. I think I just blew their minds. Mike had it all figured out, but Kaeryn, Connor, and Em are like, oh, I hadn't even thought of that. But nonetheless, keep an eye out for what's going to be going on with Jasper's Game Day and other Jasper events around the country. Another way that you can donate to this wonderful cause is through Menagerie Roast Coffee. It is a wonderful blend of Brazilian and Peruvian coffee that I have partnered with Initiative Coffee Company's Help Action. And using the link that is in the chat, or in the information bar on YouTube down below, you can buy yourself a 12-ounce bag of coffee, and $3 of that purchase is going to go directly to Jasper's. The last thing I want to promote is, of course, in the lower right-hand corner below Qualu Connor there, you will notice the D&D Beyond logo. That is because many terrain domain streams are powered by D&D Beyond, who has been kind enough to grant us insider access. And that is why you can mouse over the stream and you can look very carefully at these players and notice that all of them have hit points in the red, because last session was pretty deadly. And we'll see exactly what's happening with them in just a moment. The last thing that I want to say is perhaps the most important, and that is simply this, that you matter. No matter where you are in the world today, and what you're dealing with, you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. But it can be tough, especially when things are challenging your mental health. And you might find yourself in need of somebody to talk to. At any time during any mini terrain domain stream, you can simply type !help, or you can look down in the stream scroll down below, and this information will be available. We have several resource lines where trained counselors are waiting to talk to you, and we encourage you to take advantage of these resources. In the United States, you can call the National Suicide Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or you can text 741-741. If you are a veteran, you can dial the number 1 after calling that number, and you'll be connected with a veteran specialized counselor. In Canada, you can reach out to the Crisis text line by texting CONNECT for English or PARLER for French to 686-868, or you can call the Canada Suicide Prevention Services in French or English toll-free 1-833-456-4566. If you are among our friends elsewhere in the world, you can go to the link at the bottom of that in the chat, or just type in opencounseling.com/suicide-hotlines, and you will be connected with a list of phone numbers and text lines for countries all around the world. All right. That finishes up our announcements. Let's play some Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to go ahead and get a quick recap to figure out just what the heck is going on here. Because this last couple of sessions have been pretty rough on the players. Most notably in the last session, they found themselves in a section of the Tomb of the Nine Gods. They are on the 4th level down in a place known as the Chambers of Horror. They have experienced a magical mirror that traps souls, but fortunately Brilinya was able to solve that puzzle and prevent them all from being trapped indefinitely in this mirror. They went through the Maze of Death, but did not die, though Vale sacrificed his right arm from the elbow down in the open maw of a green devil face, in which when he stuck his arm in there, it just completely disintegrated his arm. It removed it. It's gone. They went through a series of elemental chambers that they teleported through. In the chamber that was filling with sand, when the sand caused the floor to collapse, all but Qualu managed to get to the edge. Qualu fell through some heavy stone rollers and was mashed to a bloody pulp and very nearly died. Fortunately, with the last of his strength, he was able to push a button that retracted the rollers, and Brilinya was able to heal him up, though he has suffered some permanent damages himself in the form of a limp and a missing eye, and somehow only managed to also get a minor scar from this. They entered from here through a secret door into a room that was another of the trickster gods' tombs, that of Shigambi the Commodon, a Commodon being a leopard-like creature with 6 serpents that come out of its shoulders. And Vale, in an effort to quietly investigate the coffin, slipped and stepped on some broken pottery, bringing the 48 terracotta warriors to alert. They began rapidly making their way through these warriors. Qualu, I think, took out the most of the terracotta warriors, but everybody else did their fair share. Though Vale did quickly boogie out of there, he disabled one of the teleportation circles that was in along one of the walls, then escaped through one on the south wall. Eventually the others also did so. However, when they teleported out of this room, they found themselves facing the Mirror of Life Trapping once again, though disabled. However, they were not themselves. Vale appeared in the form of a bat, where he flew ahead trying to meet up with the party and met, of all things, a lizard that talks. Then Taliel came through as a flying snake. Qualu came through and turned into a quipper, which is a piranha-like fish, and immediately began flopping around and dying on the floor. Brilinya came through already in an enlarged state. She is now an enlarged baboon. And while they were in there, they did Qualu managed to grab hold of the items that were inside, scooped out the items that were inside the sarcophagus belonging to Shigambe, and is now in possession of, I believe is possessed now by Shigambe. Do you remember, because I don't have it in front of me at the moment, I don't remember what it is that does for you. There was a benefit you said. Oh, you have an extra attack.
It gives me an extra attack each turn.
So Qualu now has 4 attacks per turn. You also pulled out of there the instrument of the bards, the Kanaeth mandolin. 200 gold pieces, 5 moonstones worth 50 gold pieces each, a wonderfully beautiful music box worth 250 gold pieces. And we ended the session with Vale the Bat, followed by the lizard, running back towards the mirror. And as Vale flaps around the corner in his bat form, he sees a flying snake and a giant baboon running down the hall. Briefly, the giant baboon is carrying a dying fish in its hands, when all of a sudden it goes and pops into Qualu, now being held by this giant baboon. And that is where we are going to pick up as you come this, and this is the title of our episode, as this menagerie of misfits comes careening down the hallway. What would you like to do?
Qual is gasping for air. Because he's finally able to catch a breath properly, instead of things through his gills, which was how he was stuck before.
I imagine there's like a pause where he just briefly looks and sees just the face of a giant baboon holding him, and Brilinya, being Brilinya, tries to smile, but if you've ever seen a baboon try to show its teeth, it is terrifying. So you just see this giant baboon just bare its fangs at you.
And it's a head and fangs that are twice the size of your own head.
And I will try to squirm my way out of your grip. There, baboon.
Do you let Qualu slip out of your grasp?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as Brilinya feels any kind of movement, she'd immediately let him go.
Nod your head if you were a person like me. Okay. Now, I want you to raise your left hand if you are Brilinya, raise your right hand if you are Taliel, and wiggle your tail if you are Vale. And baboons don't have tails, but of course, Father doesn't know that.
See the baboon just like stare at their hands for a moment, almost like trying to, and then would raise the left one.
Oh, Taliel, it's good to see you.
Oh, is that?
Meanwhile, a bat and a flying snake are flitting around your head. And
you must be Vale, and you must be Brilinya. Getting everyone wrong.
And there is a lizard. There is a lizard on the wall as well.
No, you must be Vale.
The lizard turns to the bat and says, in common, or no, you were using speak with animals, weren't you? Your natural ability. So it sort of seems to be making some sort of clicking noise as it turns to you, Vale. Are you with all of these creatures and that, whatever that thing is, indicating the giant orc, half orc?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Qualu, he's the half orc. Well, he hasn't killed the baboon yet, so I assume that they're all part of us. Must have gone through that same magic portal that I did. So, yeah.
Ooh, this lizard, sir, is a chatty one. Must be Vale. As he's hearing this lizard go... a bat. He can't hear a bat squeak, because bats are, they speak in a strange ultrasonic sounds.
Somebody roll me a d20.
All right. Why not? Someone else roll a d20. No, I got it. I rolled it too.
Okay.
I got to stop volunteering for stuff.
All right. What about you, Taliel? Taliel?
I think at this point, Taliel was just trying to keep up with the giant baboon running down the hall. So I think by the time she catches up, she would just land on its shoulder.
So this flying snake just sort of settles in on the baboon's shoulder, sort of coiling around, maybe the tail wrapping around your loosely around your neck and shoulders.
Seems you've brought a bat friend along, you three.
About this time, though, the baboon shrinks down to a normal-sized baboon. I just had to look up the duration on your enlarge reduce spell. As enough time has gone by that aspect of the spell has changed. So now you feel the weight of this snake much larger on your shoulders. Oh, it's not a huge snake. I imagine this serpent's probably like about somewhere between 4 to 6 feet. I guess we have different opinions on what makes a large snake. But in Chult, it's not a large snake. So were you traveling through this tomb with the Havoc and with this snake and this baboon?
Well, no, not exactly. They weren't, much like I wasn't always a bat. Well, they're all people, like the half-orc, except like much better looking and smarter and nicer smelling. Just at some point, we're probably going to change back. I just don't know when yet. I'm going to fly over and I'm going to see if I can try and talk to I'm going to try and talk to Brilinya.
Given your ability to speak to animals, you will be able to talk to and be understood by whoever you talk to.
All right. So I'll flap over. Right, which one are you?
Oh, thank God I can understand you. Brilinya.
Brill. That's quite the get up.
Yeah. Just happy everyone is alive.
Yeah, well, more or less. Who's the snake then? Oh, the snake must be Taliel. Right.
The weirdest thing happened. Qualu was a fish, and then he changed back very quickly, and I'm very confused of why we haven't changed back yet. He has.
Dunno. Actually, if it's okay with you, Jake, I'll just impose a self-intelligence check on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe fish change back easier or something, and I don't know. Just seems weird to me. How are you holding up, Taliel?
Oh, I can understand you.
Yeah, well, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm the only one that can speak to all of you. Being able to talk to animals and all that.
Meanwhile, Qualu's standing there, and next to him, he just sees there's this bat chirping, and there's this clicking lizard, and this baboon, the snake.
I think Qualu's pretty unfazed by this. He's just like leaning against the wall. Yeah, go ahead, little cats. Keep talking. Figure things out.
Real quick, because it's been a while since I looked. I know I already checked with Vale. Taliel, what languages do you speak?
I speak Common, Elvish, and Sylvan.
And Brilinya?
Common, Elvish, and Celestial.
And Qualu?
Common, Chultan, and Orcish.
Okay. So yeah, the way it stands right now is that Vale is the only one that can understand each, the lizard and Taliel and Brill, and they can only each understand Vale, and Qualu can understand no one. So what's the plan? You're in this hallway. You're basically midway through this hallway that's about 35 feet. So you're kind of right in the middle of that. Back the way you came, for most of you, is where the 15 by 15 foot room where the now inactive mirror of life trapping is. And back the way that Vale and the lizard came from is where that landing is. There's a hallway. There's the 4 gargoyles on their platforms, and there was a hole in the floor between them.
So, where do you think we should go? What have you been up to since you went through that portal?
Well, I met a lizard, strangely, who was also part of the group that went before. Taliel, do you happen to know a druid that was with you?
Yes.
Well, that was his lizard. I don't know. I kind of.
You kind of see that the snake like got excited for a second and then just kind of.
But
slips.
Were they always a lizard?
Well, I was going to ask you that. I was hoping it was.
I don't know. I mean, I think they were always a lizard. Like, you see, they seem to think that they were always a lizard.
Yeah, from what you understood, the lizard was always a lizard.
So I'll say, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll see if I. What about you, Taliel? What do you think? How do you think we can get around getting back into ourselves again?
Well, how did Qualu do it?
I don't know. He was a fish, and he wasn't.
Why don't the rest of you make insight checks? Anybody can make an insight check.
Oh, an insight check. No, that's different.
Yeah, 8.
15.
Ooh, 17.
So, Vale and Brilinya, as you're kind of just standing there and thinking about it, you're realizing, Vale, from what Brilinya told you, and you just seem to you're kind of piece this puzzle together, that he came into the tomb in the form of a fish that would not have lasted very long at all without being in water. And there are spells that transform people into animal shapes. And when their animal form dies, they revert to their human form. And you're able to puzzle out, Brilinya and Vale, that probably being killed in your animal form returns you to your human form in the condition you were. But that's just a theory.
All right, I will share this theory with both of them. So I think all we have to do is die.
You can see Brilinya's baboon eyes just like widen.
And what could go wrong?
I tell you what, I'll go first. Brilinya, kill me. Come on, I can take it. I can take it.
Brilinya is going to take the longest time just like looking. I don't. But like kind of looking and seeing that it makes sense, just lunges at you, and probably with like this more animal instinct, I imagine, just bites your small body and begins to just shake it.
Okay.
Qualu just sees this.
All of a sudden, Qualu seizes the baboon, lunge at the bat, grab it, and bite down on it.
I guess the bat was not their friend.
And
So the lizard must be then Taliel. Taliel's the baboon. The snake is Vale. The lizard is Taliel. Who's the
I
bat?
also think very quickly, Brilinya would spit out the bat.
As you're, before you even spit it out in bat form, you grab it and you just shake it and you hear and feel its neck break. And suddenly your feet are lifted off the ground as you are now biting Vale's shoulder. Roll a d4.
Three.
Vale, you take 2 points of piercing damage as this Brilinya in baboon form is suddenly like sort of on your arm, on your left arm, and sort of teeth sinking in, just getting past your armor a little bit. But it appears to have worked. As you are now in your half-elven form.
Oh, that's better. Right. Which one of you two is next?
Baboon is on your arm.
Brill, I'm fine now.
They would immediately just like unclench her teeth, just falls to the ground.
All right then, Qualu. All right, so who's going to be who wants to change next then?
Qualu is very happy with how he looks. Thank you.
You don't count. You're already you.
Why did you say my name?
No, I'm just saying how you getting on.
Qualu is very concerned with who the lizard is. He's with the snake.
The lizard is just a lizard.
But the lizard was talking.
Yeah, well, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
The lizard is just a lizard.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave him, and I'm just gonna go over. I'm just gonna grab the snake and grab Taliel. Taliel, now I'm sorry. I'm gonna make this rather quick so you can turn back. Okay. Still speaking to you.
Yeah, she's kind of hesitating, like, yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, you know what? We'll do it on 3. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Ready? 1, and it just snap the neck right at 1.
And you suddenly are in full form as Taliel, with Vale is pressing just a little bit of pressure onto the side of your neck.
You said 3.
I did, didn't I? But see, you were surprised, right? It's like pulling an arrow out. If you do it on 3 or if you do it at 3, then you know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. But if I tell you I'm going to pull the arrow out on 3 and I pull it out on 1, right? You don't know what's going to happen. It's better that way. It leaves less of a scar. Okay, Brill, Yep, it's your turn now. Actually, Taliel, do you want to do the honors?
Oh, well, I guess I am strong enough.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do like you just did.
Well, you were a snake. This is a baboon. It's different. But no, you got this. You got this.
I've never. All right. And she'll go over. I'm sorry, Brill, this is going to hurt a bit. And she will try to snap your neck as well, using her immense strength. But you're a baboon, so.
A baboon only has 3 hit points. So as long as you don't resist, then there's the last thing you hear in your baboon form is sort of a triple shot of vertebrae snapping as Taliel is suddenly has one hand on either side of your head, Brill, as you stand up to your full height.
Yeah, and Taliel's not looking at you. She is turned away. She didn't want to see what she was doing.
Thank you, Taliel. Actually, I think you got a crick out of my neck. And she kind of like turns her head.
I'm glad you're back.
Vale, you hear, I have been a lizard living in the jungles of Chult my entire life, and that is one of the most brutal things I have ever seen. You people are crazy.
Yeah, but we had to get out of these animal forms, didn't we?
What is so bad about being in an animal form?
Well, it's not the form that I originally had. No, is it the form that they had? Anyway, did you want to come with us, or do you just want to, go on and do your thing? Don't worry, it's not going to be like before where we, send you off in lieu of us for traps or anything.
Taliel, now that you hear one side of this conversation that Vale is having with the Vale is having with this lizard, you recognize this lizard. Mostly because it has the fringe that runs down its back is yellow. And that is what where did it go? Let me find it real quick. That is what the wizard Devlin did when he turned this lizard, basically awakened it. And afterwards it seemed to be more have more affinity with your party's ranger Seward. But the original intent was that this lizard would guide you through the tomb. And it stayed with you until shortly after you got to the tomb, and the first chance it had, it escaped from all of you.
Taliel will approach this lizard. I'm assuming it's still kind of on the wall or whatever. She says, "Oh, hello, little fellow. I was wondering where you'd got to." Talking to it like you would a pet. It's been so long.
You know that you could never actually understand what it said because only Seward spoke Druidic, which is the language that it's capable of speaking other than as an animal through Vale. Vale, it does turn to you and say, You know, I remember this one. It wasn't so bad.
Well, that's good. Like I said, you can come with us. I'm not going to force you to do anything you don't want to do. If you just want to walk around or, stick around here and eat bugs and, generally lizard things.
It's pretty much what I've been doing ever since I've been around in here.
Right.
I will keep an eye out, but I'm going to stay to myself on the walls and the ceilings and in the crevices.
Hey, no problem. Listen, you keep yourself safe, okay? And thanks for talking. It was nice to meet you and all,
Well, it remains to be seen, but for now it is nice to have met you as well.
All right, well, hopefully you catch nothing but the most plump of and juicy of bugs and, I don't know, small rodents or birds or, whatever. I mean, I'm not, not judging you. So,
Taliel, you hear, just off to your left side, in your ear, you hear, "Are you very aware that Vale is talking to a lizard?" And you glance and see a glint of gold as Yak, the floating skull, is once more at your side. You thought you were rid of him.
I certainly did. Where have you been?
Where have I been? After that whole incident in the thing where when you went through the door and Vale lost his arm, I was there that whole time. I was flying around, and then all of a sudden you went into the wall and you vanished. I've been flying around here looking for you everywhere. Okay, I've been flying around looking for gems to eat, but when I couldn't find any, I was flying around looking for you.
Well, seems like you found us again.
So, did you find any gems?
No.
Damn it.
No.
Fine. And he just starts floating around. All right. We'll say that at this point, roughly 20, 30 minutes has gone by since you came out of the room, and you're about halfway to a short rest. If you want to hang out in this hallway for a little longer, you can gain the mechanical benefits of a short rest, which would allow you to spend hit dice, and for some of you to recover some key features.
I think Brilinya would very much appreciate a short rest.
Likewise.
I've been looking
That
at your
works
hit
for me.
points all in the red. I'm thinking you could all benefit from a short rest. Yeah, go ahead, spend any hit dice that you have available to spend, and make sure you make your changes in your character sheet so they show up online in the overlay. And we'll say that you guys are spending another half hour. I'd say about every maybe 2 or 3 times, Vale, you hear the sort of sticky sounds of the lizard running along the wall as he kind of peers around a corner and he comes. Oh my gosh, I thought I saw something coming down the hallway there, but it turns out that there was nothing. I will go keep another eye out. And he does this a couple more times. Until a half hour passes, and you are... There we go. Qualu is looking pretty good. Qualu's the only one I've seen changed on the overlay so far. I imagine, as you're rolling up hit dice. Vale's just jumped up. Now you're only in the yellow instead of the red. Taliel has gone up. I wish Taliel was playing in the Dawnbringers campaign so that she could meet Captain Dervish, and then I could use the phrase "the Captain" and Taliel. that was just for your benefit, Mike. Just to get that head cocked to the side reaction. I'm not going anywhere. You can't kick me off of my own stream. Oh no, Monty DL just booed my joke. Mike suddenly feels vindicated. I'm assuming that's what the boo was for. All right. So, you are all Qualu, Brilinya, and Taliel are all in the green. Only Vale is in the yellow. Nonetheless, an hour has gone by. What would you like to do? As a reminder, the direction from which you came where the mirror was is the same direction where you had entered the Maze of Death and eventually come out. So in the direction that you were headed, there is the grand staircase balcony thing with the stairs leading down back up to level 3, and then there's a set of stairs that lead down where you can see the 4 gargoyles gathered around the hole. There is also a hallway that is 10 feet wide that goes to the west. Those are your... there is that hallway that goes to the east, but you've been that way. That's where the Shigambi's tomb was, and the elemental rooms, earth, air, wind, and fire. So you've got the gargoyles with the hole in the floor, and you've got this hallway to the west that's on your same level.
Shall we go west?
I'm good with that.
Yes, I think that sounds good. Is there anything here that we any hints that we haven't found yet? The Iron Scepters?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking. Find the Iron Scepter's twin.
Okay.
That's what I remember.
We should all keep that in mind.
Also, I don't know if the maze holds the key. I mean, I think we went through the maze, but
I believe so.
I don't know what the key was talking about.
Was the crown?
Yeah, it's a very good possibility that the crown is some sort of the key. I'd like to pull out the crown really quick and just kind of give it an inspection. I kind of want to look at like the top of the crown. Like, is it decorated to like look like your average crown, or is it like, are the tops of it like some kind of a weird, like, if I stuck this into a keyhole or a like, kind of round shaped sort of a crown hole, and turn it, is it like some kind of a key? Or
it does not look like any traditional form of key like you would expect. One second. Turns out that 6 is not enough iterations of the tomb to have, or the D&D Beyond to have open to keep up with your questions. Let's see, that was okay. That's where you got it. I'm just going to double check because there we go. So yeah, this is a gold crown topped with a glittering black opal. Which, as you are looking at it, you just remember it being the thing that Fenthaza, the Nightmare Speaker of the Yuan-Ti, wanted. Yeah, it just looks like a crown. It doesn't have any sort of like key like aspects to it. And yeah, as a reminder, Acerak's warning on this level, the brass plaque. You had death to fire, dying or drown, precious air, and falling sand. The army sleeps in silence. The mirror holds 12. Find the iron scepter's twin, and the maze holds the key. So you were, I believe, you had mentioned that you wanted to head to the west. Are you, as you walk that way, about 30 feet or so down the hallway, you see that there is a 5-foot hallway that branches to the north. And what you see as you're walking along this hallway is, first, you see where this this hallway heads to the east, or to the north, excuse me. You see where'd it go? There we go. You see that there is a dusty corridor that extends for about 10 feet and then turns into a staircase that descends 15 feet down to a lower tunnel. You can just see, well, actually, you can't see what's down in there from where you're at out in the hallway. In front of you, about another 25 feet, you see that there is what appears to be a large stone door at the end of this hallway. But you don't see any handles or hinges on it. On either side of the, coming out of the wall, on either side of the door, are 2 matching bronze sculptures, each with the head and neck of a serpent with its fangs bared. On the lintel above the door is inscribed a message, but from here you can't see what it says. So you have a hallway with some stairs heading to the north, and you've got some sort of door with serpent sculptures on either side to the west.
I think Taliel, first, before we go anywhere else, I think she's going to go close enough that she can read what it says on the lintel.
As you approach, you see that it says the words in common: warm like flame, cold for the cruel, still for the dead, gruel for the ghoul.
And she would read that out loud.
I just accidentally double copied that, but it's in the side chat for you.
Perfect.
As you walk close enough to read this, from the serpents, the bronze sculptures of serpents on either side, you catch the scent of rotting flesh wafting out from their open mouths. Looking at them, you can see each of the statues' mouths have dried blood in its mouth. And you can actually see that there are small tubes at the back of its neck. The teeth and the mouth of each of the serpents' sculptures has dried blood all over it.
Taliel will retreat back to the rest of the party and let them know what she saw and smelled. I'm not liking that doorway.
Sounds like another clue to the room, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Though I don't understand what it means. Should we check out the stairway first?
Perhaps, though I think Brilinya would take this time to write down what Taliel had told her, the inscription, in her little book, just so that we don't forget it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's check out the stairs then.
Okay, I'll go first. And with that, Taliel will start to descend, or go down the hallway and then start descending the stairs.
As you get to the top of the stairs, that you can see 15 feet below, resting on the floor at the bottom of the staircase, is an old treasure chest with a rusty built-in lock. Just beyond the chest, you can see that the room opens up into a large, dark chamber.
Can I see into the chamber? I have dark vision of 60 feet.
You're going down the stairs then?
Yeah, I'll start going down the stairs, yeah.
Okay. So you head down the stairs, and you, stopping at the bottom right in front of the chest, you can see into a room that is you're seeing a room that is at least 45 to 50 feet across. It extends to the east and west. Where you are standing next to this treasure chest, this little chamber, sort of corridor that the stairs are in, does extend another 10 feet before it goes into the room proper. You can see, though, this room is quite large. At the far end, about 50 feet out, there is a raised platform that goes up that is lifted up about 15 feet. You see there are 4 marble columns supporting the ceiling of what looks to be a grand tomb. You see the twin staircases that ascend to the upper gallery, where you see a carving in the form of a giant maze on the wall. On the floor of the tomb, about 10 feet in front of this mezzanine, you see an opaque crystal sarcophagus. And as you look at it, you see it shifting colors. Minotaur murals adorn the walls all around this room.
You said there was some sort of maze on the wall?
So you see, looking at the far end of the room, you see these twin staircases that go up to this sort of open gallery, this mezzanine, and the wall, the entire wall where this balcony level is a giant maze, like a 3D topographical map of a maze on the wall.
Brilinya, Vale, Qualu, I think we might have got the last one about the maze, that clue. I don't think it pertained back to that other area. There's a big maze on the wall in this room on the far side.
In your mind, Taliel, you hear, "That maze is important. We should be the first to go look at it and touch it."
I know it's important. That's why I'm telling them.
Don't let the others get to it before we do. In your mind, Brilinya, you see the sarcophagus, and it's shifting through these various colors. You all can see, if you come down the stairs and you kind of peer past, it is a narrow hallway. You see that it shifts from blue to gold to purple, then green, then red, then black, then back to blue, gold, purple, green, red, black, staying on each color for about 6 seconds before shifting into a new color. In your mind, Brilinya, Ijin says with this sort of casual voice, "Ooh, The gold is pretty. We should wait for it to turn gold. Then, when it turns gold, we should try to open it. It's my favorite color.
Is it just because it's your favorite color that you think we should open it, or
What
do you
other
know
reason would
something?
there possibly be? I mean, if you've got to choose, why not choose your favorite? And gold is my favorite. I like to think it's our favorite color.
Gold is very nice. But I think you're right, Taliel. I think this one is the maze. The key is within the maze.
Yeah, I don't think you should open it, even if you do like gold or whatever it was you just said. But if that's what you were thinking, we should check out the maze first. I'll go do that.
So the maze is just this grand mural, right?
Yeah, it's not a mural. It's an actual 3D maze. It's like, looks like it's, imagine if somebody took a huge set of Dwarven Forge, glued it all together and mounted it on the wall.
That would be so dope.
That's what it looks like.
Like, I would want that. I would want that in this room on my wall
Right?
somewhere. Like, I'd be like, yeah, I would totally do that. Now, and please forgive me if you had already mentioned it. Are there any like figures moving throughout the maze? Like any like small
At
little
this point, you are
representations?
all about 50 feet away from the maze.
Okay.
And the maze is about 15 feet wide and 15 feet high. So, and you are still standing, some of you are still on stairs because Taliel hasn't actually moved past the locked chest or the chest with the lock on it that's directly in front of her on the floor.
All right, then I'll probably go with Taliel and also go check out this maze.
I think Brilinya would follow as well. She's very curious about this maze, especially if it holds a key. How big is it? Like how wide and
The maze is
tall?
15 feet by 15 feet.
Okay, so then, yeah, it's probably good that there's. I think Brilinya would take the far right side and start just looking at it.
As a reminder, Taliel is still standing in front of the treasure chest and hasn't moved yet. Or have you moved?
I haven't, but
okay.
As soon as like it sounds like that we're all kind of in agreement, I would go to move into the room.
Okay, so you just have to
this.
step over this treasure chest.
Yeah.
Or I say treasure chest. I say it's a chest. It's a wooden chest.
Not a rucksack.
Right.
Sorry.
I'm
not.
It's a wooden
touching
chest that's actually a wooden chest. Okay. So Taliel is going to lead the way and begin walking into the room. Hold on. I think it's because I have so many things open. I keep scrolling through and then I get blank and I have to wait a second for the D&D Beyond page to populate. Okay. So, you, Taliel, lead the way. You walk in. The rest, you step over and then you have 5 feet and then you walk into the room. As you walk into the room, you see that it extends 25 feet in either direction. And you can see these Minotaur murals that are all around the room. As you walk into the room, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw at advantage as the floor breaks away beneath your feet. Correction, it's a straight roll, not with advantage. You're muted.
So I re-rolled because I had rolled both dice at the same time. I don't want to keep my re-roll, so I would like to use a little mask to change.
A domain devil?
Yes, I wish.
Let's see. That's going to put you at 15. So. Wrong button.
So it was a good thing I did that because it was a 1 before, and now it's actually a nat 20. So that's a 24.
So as you go to step, and the floor breaks beneath your feet, you are able to grab the edges, sort of the edge of the wall, and you keep enough of your weight on one foot that you pull yourself back into this little area behind you. Brilinya, how closely were you following behind Taliel?
Pretty closely, I would say.
I'm gonna have you make this dexterity check as well.
Okay.
And it's gonna be for you. It's gonna be at disadvantage. Taliel has advantage on detecting or on trap related stuff.
Okay. That's a 12.
Okay. Taliel, you pull yourself, and you feel as Brilinya was already starting to kind of doing that thing where you start to just push past. Like it seemed, Taliel's movement almost seemed like she was going to move to the right, and you just sort of move past her, and you step forward as the floor is breaking away. Taliel has this sort of sixth sense about these things, and you just weren't quick enough. I'm going to roll some dice. There's the first 4. So that's 19, 21, 31, 41, 50, 60, 70, 7. I panicked for a moment because 77 is your max HP, but it's not going in the other direction. But there is a sort of a yelp as Brilinya steps into nothingness, drops about 5 feet, and Taliel, you're the only one that gets a clear look. The others of you see the splash as Brilinya falls face first into a 15-foot by 10-foot wide, 5-foot deep pit of acid, taking 77 points of acid damage.
As a reaction to that damage, this entombment of ice will form around Brilinya, and you can see that it begins to melt away the acid, but I gain 120 temporary hit points.
What is this?
Tomb of Levistus.
This is your invocation?
Yes.
So, as Brilinya... So, is this triggered... What is the triggering?
As a reaction, when you take damage, you can entomb yourself in ice. And it melts away at the end of my next turn.
Okay, so you take the damage, but then are entombed in ice and gain 77 or 120 temporary hit points. Is that correct? Or does that prevent the damage?
I think it takes... It's a reaction, so I think it takes damage.
If you read the thing further, it'll say it takes as much of the triggering damage as possible.
Okay, so you go ahead and do it this way. Add the 120 temp HP, and then apply 77 points of damage. So that, and now there is a block of ice floating in the acid. What do Vale and Qualu do as Taliel is occupied with pulling herself back from the edge of almost falling into this acid herself.
Still got that fancy rope, Taliel?
Yeah, I certainly do. Yes. Save her. It's a pit of acid.
Yeah.
So Quali would be like, toss me that rope, Taliel. And he'll like bungee jump with it, essentially, to dive down to try and get her. Assuming that, of course, like
it's only
you said 15 feet, right?
No, it's 15 feet wide, 10 feet across, but it's only 5 feet deep.
Oh, okay.
She's immediately in front of you, floating in this pit, about 5 feet from the edge, but she's also in a translucent block of ice. You see Brilinya sort of in this frozen state, and you can already see that the ice is melting away.
Okay, perfect. I thought it was a 15-foot deep pit that had
Nope.
a pit of acid. Perfect. So I'll like lunge out. I got the Yulkulwa, I think I said it right, in my hand. I'll like just stab it in the ice and like pull her towards the edge of the thing to pull her out.
All right, make an attack. Roll an attack with it to see if you can sink it into the ice.
Perfect. That's a good old +10 to hit, no biggie. That's going to be a 24 to hit.
All right, roll damage.
Okay. It's going to be 12 points of magical damage.
So 12 points of damage absorbed by your temp HP. And make a strength check at advantage to pull towards you.
Oh, thank you, dice. I rolled 2 of the exact same number. It's going to be a strength check will be 16.
You are able to pull. In your action, you're able to hook your Yukawa into the ice and pull it towards you. You now have it at the edge. Vale, what would you like to do?
Help me get her out.
All right, I'll assist. I'll assist Qualu in pulling her out.
All right, so this will be you making the roll, Kualu assisting as you attempt to pull the frozen ice block Brilinya out of the acid. So make a strength athletics check at advantage.
Ooh, advantage.
Avantage.
Nice. Well, that couldn't have been better. Got a 2 and a natural 19. Well, I think I'll take the 19. So that'll be a 23.
Excellent. Because the action of Kualu pulling it forward, you sort of get in there, get a hold of it. He's got his Yukawa in there, and there's this, because this just happened, there's this sort of bobbing action. And as it's sort of bobbing upward, you're able to leverage it against the edge and pull it towards you into this narrow hallway. And as you do so, is there anything, Brilinya, that you can or would do from inside your frozen block? So then, at the end of this is when the ice effect ends. Do the temporary hit points stay, correct? Or do they go away?
No, they go away when the ice melts.
Okay, excellent. So you basically emerge unscathed, though maybe traumatized a little bit from this. All of you will take no additional damage, but all of you sort of feel that your nose hairs are very, it's a very acrid smell, and you can feel this sort of prickliness on your skin of the acid, just sort of the fumes getting in to your pores. Mike, if you can relate to tear gas, CS gas, if you've ever experienced that in the military?
CS gas, and I've also breathed in like muriatic acid. So yeah, I know the smell.
So I mean, I don't want to leave the others of you out.
Taste it in the back of your tongue.
The scenarios in which the others of you would have experienced tear gas would probably be notably different than Mike and I in the military. But it's a very particular sensation when that gas gets into your pores. Nonetheless, you are all standing now in this narrow hallway, and there is a 10-foot gap to get across what is now. You can now see not only is it this pit of acid, but the walls of it are, and I was incorrect, but I allowed it with the action. I'm not going to retcon it. It is a 10-foot deep pit, not a 5-foot deep. So acid is 5 feet deep. But with that 23 strength roll and the Yukawa, everything stands. You were able to pull it up. It was basically the weight of Brilinya plus a little extra. But you notice that the walls of this pit are glass, thick glass, that if you had been stuck down in this pit, it would have been nearly impossible to climb out of it. Or if any of you should find yourself in it again. So as it stands right now, you are in this hallway still with the treasure chest that is just a treasure chest and a 10-foot wide, or 10 foot to get across, and a 15-foot wide pit of acid. And with that, we are going to take a 10-minute break. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in with us thus far as we are making our way through the Tomb of Annihilation. We are going to take a brief 10-minute break, and then we'll be back to continue along for another hour or so. So refresh your beverages, use the restroom if you got to, but whatever you're doing in these 10 minutes, make sure you're at least washing your hands during that time thoroughly. So let's let me set up the timer here. Let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break. And we're back as I randomly push buttons trigger just about every aspect of the stream. All right. You are outside of, or just at the entryway of this as yet unidentified tomb with a color-changing crystal sarcophagus in it, murals of minotaurs all around, a mezzanine with a 3D maze visible up on the wall, and a recently triggered acid pit lined in smooth glass walls that Brilinya, thanks to warlock invocations, survived. And you are all once again tightly packed in this narrow opening right at the edge of this 15-foot wide, 10 feet across acid pit. What would you like to do? And there's a wooden chest at the foot of the stairs in this hallway you're in.
Watch yourself. You could have been killed. Let me go first and find the way. She's looking at Brilinya. You can see, like, she's almost yelling at you, but you can see that she's also very worried for what just happened. And I think she said, stand back a little bit, please. Give me a little room. And Taliel is going to long jump over the pit.
You can, because of the chest, you can only get about 5 feet of a start.
Yeah, I believe it's kind of a standing long jump, so it'll get half of my strength score in feet to jump.
And your strength score is?
23.
Oh.
So, yeah. So I can go about 12 feet, 11 and a half feet.
So, Let's see. Just checking something. Long jump. You make a long jump. You didn't. I'm just. Okay. There's no low obstacle. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to make you make a check for that then. If everybody allows you the room, you are able to leap across this 10-foot pit. You know what? I am going to make you make a check because I want to see if you critically fail. It's a very low DC, but if you critically fail, this could be a problem. So it'll be an athletics strength check.
So that is a 24.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. You just leap over and you're in the room. When you land, you find yourself about, as you land and sort of move that extra couple feet, you find yourself about 15 feet in front of this crystal sarcophagus.
I'm heading for the stairs. You said the stairs go up to the mezzanine. Where
There's a set of stairs to the left and to the right.
I'm going to go to the left. That way.
The left.
Yeah.
Okay. You head over and start climbing the stairs. What about the rest of you? Is everyone going to attempt to leap over the pit? So I need a strength athletics check from each of you in turn. Who's going next? Qualu.
Qualu will. He's like, this is how you do it. Well, I do not roll a natural one. It is a 16 on the die for a total of 25.
No problem. You also find yourself easily across, standing about 15 feet away from the sarcophagus. Taliel's already heading off to the slightly to the northwest to those set of stairs.
I rolled a 19.
You are also good.
I rolled. Oh, I have to use a domain die because I rolled the 2. So, my next roll is 17 for a total of 16.
Okay, yeah, you make it over as well. Not quite as gracefully or as powerfully as the others, but you do make it across. So Taliel's heading to the northwest stairs and is already beginning to climb them. Qualu, you said you were heading to the other stairs? Or did you?
I hadn't said anything, but I want to go to the opposite stairs, the northeast stairs.
All right, Vale, where are you going?
So, sorry, what are the options again?
Left or right?
The whole
Thanks.
room, there's nothing else in the room except for murals all along the walls that look like minotaurs. There's 4 pillars, the sarcophagus, and the 2 sets of stairs heading forward. I'm trying to see if I can find the player version of the map that I can share with you a screenshot of this area.
And which way is everyone else going?
Taliel's going to the left stairs, and Qualu's going to the right stairs.
You just had to split the party, didn't you, Qualu? All right.
Yes. Yeah. Qualu intentionally split the party.
All right, I'll go. Actually, I'll look back at Brilinya, and I'll just say left to right, because we can both split up. At least there'll be 2 of us going in each direction. So, what do you think would be the best?
But if you go left, and I'll go right.
Sounds good. So I'll do that. I'll go left with Taliel, and yeah.
Okay. There we go. I'm going to drop in our Facebook chat a screenshot So you have this in your head, what this looks like. The center of the southern wall is, there we go. The center of the southern wall, where the dotted line is, that's the acid pit. So that's where you came into the room. Taliel, you are the first one up the stairs to, whoops, I just closed that on accident. You are the first one up the stairs to the mural on the wall. This massive 15-foot by 15-foot maze that is mounted up on the wall. As you draw closer to it, you see that this maze has you see that it is in fact three-dimensional. You see the walls of this maze appear to be shifting. So the pattern of the maze is constantly changing. You also see that there are tiny lights illuminating, and they look like flickering torches inside the maze. But the details of the maze is obscured by fog. As you approach, come on. It's doing that thing where it's not loading the pages fully. 1 second. Scroll. I accidentally closed the window I was in, so I was stalling for time while I opened it up. All right. So yeah, you walk up and you see this maze in front of you that looks like this. What do you do? The others are approaching.
Well, I want to look at the little lights that are moving. Are the lights are moving?
The lights are flickering as if they are in fact tiny little torches inside this three-dimensional maze. But the wall pattern, so let's say you've got a section of walls that are perpendicular like this. As you're looking at it and you sort of shift your gaze or blink, suddenly they're parallel.
Oh, okay, so maze itself
Suddenly
is
they're like
shifting.
this. Yes, the pattern of the maze is constantly shifting.
Is there... Okay, but the lights look like they're like maybe torches on the walls or something of the maze itself?
Yep. You
Okay.
see that the maze has no exits, but the tiny torches are illuminating it, and it is clouded by fog.
Quali looks at these torch colors. Are they the same color? Do they have color patterns to them?
All of the torches are the color of flame.
Perfect. Okay.
And then about this time, Vale and Brilinya make their way up to the maze as well.
So that doesn't look to be like anything actually in the maze, like moving around in the maze. Like,
You can't tell because it seems
it's
the details
foggy.
are obscured by fog.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to take out my dagger. I'm not going to try to like jam it or anything, but what I want to do is kind of swirl it in the fog to see if I can make the fog disappear in one section. So I'm going to...
So you're just carefully trying to swirl it around and disturb the fog?
Yeah, in one little corridor.
The fog seems to reach out and cling to your blade momentarily. And as you move it around, it seems to move with it, but it doesn't dissipate. Think of it like sponge sugar, like cotton candy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, it's almost as if it's replicating rather than dissipating.
I wouldn't touch that with your hands.
Inside your mind, inside your mind, you, Taliel, you hear, "Touch it with your hand."
Calls this close to like, and then Vale's like, "Don't touch it." I'm like, "Aw."
We're so gonna kill ourselves.
Brilinya,
Oh.
you hear inside your mind, "Oh, look, it's gold again. Oh, now it's purple. Green. Red. Black. Blue. Oh, look, it's gold again."
Squirrel.
What do you think I should do with the maze? Berlin is talking to Ijin.
Oh, I don't know about the maze. That's boring. The sarcophagus. It's made of crystal. Oh, look, it's gold again.
Berlin just lets out this sigh.
Taliel is going to. I don't want to lean too close, but I'd like to blow in one section, not where there's torches, because I don't want to accidentally unlight a torch if it's there, but I want to blow and see if I can move the fog that way.
You blow, and the fog seems to swirl around, but it doesn't create an opening. It just seems to move around, and you see glimpses of what looks to be stone floors, but heavily obscured by this fog.
What do we do?
Wait, Brilinya, don't you have a spell that lets you see through magical things?
It lets me see through. Let me just look at the.
Or
Let
is
me
it
look
like
at the wording on my character sheet.
lets you see through pretty much everything?
I just get to see through solid objects. So I don't know if I'd be able to see through the fog because it's not solid.
You'd see right through the maze.
Yeah.
You could see into the sarcophagus, though.
Do you guys think I should try it?
Qualu doesn't know anything.
Well, I mean, I don't know how long the spell would last, but if the maze doesn't work, Qualum has a good point. You could always look down through the sarcophagus, see what we're dealing with in there. Although I just have this feeling that the maze and that sarcophagus are connected.
I mean, the clue did say that the maze holds the key.
Oh, does it? Well, that's right. Maybe we can find a key in here. He'll begin to like reach out with his hand to kind of like prod around with the.
Qualu, don't do that. Let me do that instead. She
Why
kind of
you?
slaps your hand. Because I can do this. Why should you risk yourself?
And Paul is confused, like, this wasn't about risk, but now it is. And I think there's almost like a race to see who can find the key in the fog of the maze first. I feel. I don't know if that's how it's going to turn out. That's what I imagine is going to happen next.
So are you
both like grope? Are we both going to like race to grope through the maze to try and find the key inside the maze?
Well, Taliel is definitely going to cautiously put her finger into the fog. She's not going to just dump her whole hand in once.
I think that Qualu will slightly less cautiously do it to try and like trace out the corridors with his fingers because he can't see.
Two things happen at once.
Oh no!
First, you see Brilinya and Vale. You see and hear as Taliel and Qualu vanish. Each of you, Taliel and Qualu, find yourself standing within a 15-foot-high passageway walled by smooth, featureless stone. It is lit by torches and shrouded by fog. There is no ceiling, and when you look up, you see the massive, distorted view of Brilinya and Vale looking down at you. Brilinya and Vale, you can just make out the tiny figures of Taliel and Qualu and different ends of the maze before they obscured by fog, and you are suddenly, your attention is drawn to the center of the room, or rather to the Minotaur relief carvings all along the walls, as on each side, the east and the west side, you hear as stone walls slide down into the floor. On the south wall, on either side of that hallway where you walked into the room, 2 more for a total of 10 chambers, each 10 foot by 10 foot, open up. You see into each of these 10 chambers piles of bones. Then you can hear the sound of bones breaking, snapping, twisting as they begin to form and knit together. And the last thing you see is as these massive skulls with horns peeling out on the side, curling out on the sides, and they each reach down into the bone debris and pull out massive battle axes. And I need all of you to roll for initiative. And in case you missed that, Brilinya and Vale, there are 10 Minotaur skeletons in this room. So I'm going to have all of you roll for initiative.
This is fine.
Right?
Well, the Minotaur skeletons aren't on fire, so...
Yet.
Look, if you wanted the TPK, just rock fall and everyone dies. Okay, I mean, come on.
You guys avoided the falling rock.
Yeah, that's right.
And the fall into acid. Yeah.
I'm not joking. Somewhere recently, you have avoided a large falling rock. I'm not even kidding.
Of course we did.
So, let me get back into here. I need to open up this. Tab. It is important, Taliel and Qualu, you do not know that this has happened in this other room. Oh yeah, this is fine. This is fine. I'm looking at the Minotaur skeleton stats. This is, yeah. Okay. And for the sake of making this more interesting, I'm splitting the room and the Minotaurs into 2 groups. So they'll be rolling their initiative separately. So for them, let's see, that's going to be... All right, Vale, what you got?
I got a 14.
And also, Vale, I want you to roll me an insight check. Brilinya, what'd you get?
22.
Taliel?
I got a 7.
Qualu?
I got a 4.
All right, the order is going to be Brilinya and Vale. One group of, I guess it doesn't matter that I split them up because they're going one after the other. Then Taliel will be 5. Qualu will be last. What'd you get for your insight? 22 insight. Ever since, it's been a couple of days because you've taken a long rest a couple of times. It's been a couple of days, though it feels like it could have been years. You're losing track of time the longer you spend in the Tomb of the 9 Gods. But ever since, whenever it was, 2 days or 2 years ago, when you stepped through that entrance, you recovered from the pit trap, and you tried to summon Moyo, your steed, your Commandant steed. You have not been able to do so. However, you recently freed the spirit of Shagambi, the Commandant trickster god. And it's as if some sort of energy source has awoken in you, and you become aware that your connection to Ubtao, and that spirit force of Moyo has been reconnected. So you will still have to cast the spell to do so, but you do know that you have the ability.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for a long rest because I took it off because who needs
as would
it
be
when you
expected.
yeah.
That was the condition I set when you entered the tomb, that until Shagambi was freed, you would not be able to access Moyo.
Fair.
So, all right, Brilinya, you are up first as 10 Minotaur skeletons dragging massive axes have stepped into the room. They're all just formed down in the room below, basically in a semicircle, a U shape. 5 on either side, 3 coming down the sides, and then 4 on the south wall. You are up on the balcony. What I'm going to do, since you now know that those were secret doors there, I'm going to send you a new image that will make this a little clearer.
Okay.
So basically, in front of each of these doorways, yeah, let me do that, and I'll drop it into the Facebook chat. You can see this new one. So in front of each of those doors lining the edges is where these 10 Minotaur skeletons are.
Okay. So, theoretically, if I cast a spell that had a 20-foot radius sphere, I could get all 5 on the one side.
A 20-foot radius? Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, you can.
Brilinya immediately outstretches her arm. She, this isn't new. I think she was almost expecting this trap or something to come out. And so she's ready, and you see she outstretches her arm, and her eyes suddenly glow this bright ethereal light. And you can also see like this almost static discharge beginning to form in her hair as it travels from the top of her head down through her arms, even over her scars. They dance around up to her palm, and she releases them in this huge arc, this ball of static, this ball of lightning almost, but it's white, almost ethereal looking, as 5 of these skeletons need to make a intelligence saving throw. Actually, before that, do they have an intelligence score of 2 or lower?
No.
Perfect. They have to make an intelligence saving throw.
Ooh. Okay. So, first one is a nat 20. So that is an 18. Second one is a nat 20. So that's an 18.
So I think all of them fail, because even if they roll a nat 20, my spell save is 19.
Seriously?
Yes.
I only rolled the 2 nat 20s, so holy crap. Yes, they all fail.
Excellent.
M's like, move over. Look at me. Look at me. I'm the DM now. They all fail.
Oh,
Yeah, the best they can get on a saving throw for them is Let me just double check that I wasn't missing something. Immunity to warlocks. All right, how much?
Wow, so convenient.
It's just so convenient.
So they each take 29 points of damage. They also have muddled thoughts for 1 minute. During that time, you roll a d6 and subtract the number rolled from all of its attack rolls and ability checks, as well as Constitution saving throws.
For how long?
A minute.
Oh. All right. I will set this d6 here for that purpose, so that I remember
The
to do
target, it can make an intelligence saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending this effect.
No, they can't.
Which it can't
Oh
do.
no, they can't. Oh.
So they will not be able to end this effect.
Yeah.
So you
they
have
to
just electrified and befuddled half of my undead minotaurs. Well done. That's very cool. Yes, that's very cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right, Vale. All right, I hesitate to ask this, but is that the end of your turn, Brilinya? Okay. Vale, what would you like to do?
I don't know. I mean, I'll probably just make myself a sandwich and have a seat. I mean, Brill clearly has this,
right?
So I mean, it's just I mean, I'm good. So which side was it that? Because whatever side it was, I'll probably have to go to. I'll just take the other side.
Probably would have been the right side, because that's where she had gone up the stairs, so that's the side that she was on.
Okay, so I'll go to the I'll look to the left. I'm just trying to see what I've got for spell slots. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Checking the map. So it's okay. I'm going to cast. Let me just double check here. Yep, I'm going to cast Moonbeam on at the bottom of the left-hand stairwell. It's a 5-foot radius, so it'll take all 4 of those squares, kind of like in the middle. And so whatever Minotaur is the first one, they're going to start their turn in it. So if they try and come up the stairs, they're going to take, because I'm casting this at 2nd level.
So you're doing it right there at the base of the stairs on the right side or left side?
Correct.
So there is one there because they're outside of their little rooms. So you will hit that one. And it will take the damage on the start of its turn, I believe.
Yep. And it will take, just give me a second to roll here. Okay, so it's going to take 10 points of radiant damage.
Well, it has to make a save to determine if it takes all of that or half of that.
Yeah.
So is that your turn?
That is my turn.
So that group is next. And these things have a 6 intelligence. So they are going to begin moving through this. There is one that starts its turn there. Con save is a let me see. Is it 18?
Remember, too, they have to roll a d6 and subtract it.
Nope, not this side.
Oh, yes, sorry. My bad.
So what's your spell save DC?
My spell save DC is 16.
So it does save, so it's only going to take half of the damage.
Yeah, so it'll take 5.
All right. And it begins moving up the stairs. Let's see. It's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It is going to be able to make it to you. And the other ones are going to begin moving towards the stairs as well. I'm just going to see real quick. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. The second one is going to make it up to the top of the stairs. Third one is halfway up the stairs. The fourth one, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. No, they're all going to make it through your moonbeam.
Okay.
They have 40 feet of movement.
So, when a creature enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn, so
yes,
I'm assuming
that's right,
they'll
because they are passing through it.
Yeah.
So they all need to make con checks. So the second one fails. Third one gets a nat 20. Fourth one fails. And the fifth one succeeds. So, what was the total damage again?
It was 10 points of damage.
All right, so okay. So they all do pass through it, taking the damage. Only one of them actually makes it to you from this side. And is going to, as he does so, is going to swing his massive great axe at you. Actually, I think this one charging up, I think this one's just going to take a straight charge at you. Because he moved at least 10 feet in a straight line once he got to the top of the stairs. He's going to use his gore attack. So that's going to be a... I think he's going to slam into the wall. Because he got a 10 on his attempt to hit you. From the other side, however, the rest of them are going to begin moving up towards Brilinya. And one of them will make it towards Brilinya, is also going to attempt a charge. I'm going to use a different die for this. That is going to be a 24 to hit.
That's after the D6?
A 21 to hit. Nope, wait, sorry, I can't math. A 19 to hit.
That hits, yeah.
So, as these minotaurs come charging up the stairs, and one of them literally charges towards you, bows its head down, it slams into you. You are going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 d8 total. Well, yeah, 4 d8 total. Plus, so that's going to be 14, 15, 20, 24 points of piercing damage. Well, it's half piercing, half bludgeoning. But you take 24 total points of damage, and I need you to make a strength saving throw. I don't. Somebody's typing or doing something, and it's a bass thrumming through the speakers. I don't know who's doing that.
I don't know.
I keep hearing, or somebody's just partying.
Sorry, and who? Wait, I didn't get hit, did I?
No, you did not. It missed you.
Not yet. Oh yeah, okay.
But another one hit Brilinya.
I rolled an 18.
An 18?
For a 17.
Okay. It's enough to prevent you from getting pushed backwards, or knocked prone. So, that's all that they can do. So it is now Taliel. There is a brief moment where you're you feel the entire maze. Both of you feel the entire maze shake. Other than that, you don't really see much. The view outside looking up is distorted, so you can't really tell what's going on out there. You basically can attempt to use your turn to explore the maze, basically.
Yeah, I think the first thing that Taliel would look is Yak with me?
Looking around, you see moving through the mist. You suddenly see a gold skull. Where are we? I don't know what just happened. We left everybody behind, and all of a sudden we are in. I don't like this at all. I do not like this. Unless there are gems everywhere, this is not going to be pleasant.
There could be. Why don't we go find out? And with that, Taliel is going to head left.
All right, so you're going to use your turn to explore. I would like you to roll a D100.
Interesting. Okay. 89.
89?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You walk forward.
I'm scared.
You walk forward and you turn left.
Yeah.
Yak suddenly goes, "Oh my goodness, is that a gem?" And he scoots along the ground, and you see as he moves towards something, a stone plinth rises out of the floor. Oh man, it's just a key. On this pedestal is a golden key.
I think Taliel would immediately grab that.
There was literally a 3% chance that you would find this key.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Kaeryn.
Mike,
sorry.
Mike.
Hmm?
Can you check your gain on your microphone on the back of it? You're using a Blue Yeti, right?
I am.
Because you are cranked.
I blame the cocaine for that.
Like, you're coming in really loud.
Okay, how about now?
Keep talking. It still seems a bit loud.
Yeah, okay. How about now?
Better. Just continue on. We'll
Okay. Anyway, no, I was going to say, Kaeryn, when you're done with that horseshoe, do you mind if I borrow it? Is that
right.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
I'll make sure I clean it first. You know.
that's cool.
So do you grab the key?
Absolutely.
Let me just check something because I did not expect that you would find the key so quick. Okay, you grab the key, and you suddenly find yourself standing back in the tomb, and you are standing next to the color-changing sarcophagus. Roll me a d6 real quick.
4.
It is currently green.
I like green.
So that is going to end your turn. You do hear quite a loud clattering noise. As looking to your left and right, you do see several large minotaur skeletons clambering up the stairs towards where the balcony is, and the maze, and your companions. Qualu.
Hello, friends.
You don't see anybody.
Yak. Hello. Anyone here? He's like just walking through the mist, I guess.
All right, roll me a D100.
Both of these dice fell off the table. There must be a sign, huh? It's gonna be 11.
You wander for a little bit, finding nothing. As you turn, at one point you turn and you find yourself in a dead end. When you turn back, the right turn that was there is now a T intersection. You're finding that while you are inside this maze, the walls are shifting.
Oh man.
Back to the well, you also do have, looking in here, you see that the walls of this maze are about 20 feet tall, or excuse me, 15 feet tall. And you do see the distorted forms of Brilinya and Vale, and you see something white that you can't quite make out what it is that seems to be moving near them. Brilinya, currently engaged with one of these minotaurs, with 5 more rushing up on one side, and 4 more and 5 rushing up on the other side. What would you like to do?
I think an almost reaction more than any thought put into it. Brilinya puts up her hands as if to protect herself, but immediately as she does so and she makes this movement, a huge wall of light forms right in front of her. And she wants to put it so that it is like almost directly in front of her.
Question.
Yes.
The spell that you used on the minotaurs that befuddled them for a minute, is that a concentration spell, or is that the effect lasts for a minute?
The effect lasts. It is.
Okay.
It is not a concentration spell. Yeah.
All right, so you are making a wall appear in front of you.
Actually, instead of making it go like horizontally in front of her, I want her to make it go like vertically across.
Sort of at an angle.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So like it just goes streaking across the landing to the stairs.
It can be up to 60 feet long, 10 feet high, and 5 feet thick. Is your intent to both damage and block these creatures with this? Are you like walling yourself off from them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So any within that that kind of long line, which I know is at least the one in front of her, and then I don't know if any of them made it up the stairs.
So they all were up. I would say because of the way you're going to shoot it, they're all going to be in the effect of it.
Excellent.
Just looking at the map and looking at the effects, so they need to make con saves. Is that what it is?
And with the con save, they have to minus a d6.
Yep, I've got the d6 here. So the first one gets a let's see, what's their con? Con is +2, so that's an 8. So that's a fail. Wait, what's your spell save DC?
19.
So it is possible that they could beat it. So this is going to be an 18 or 15, so that's a fail. That is a 21. A nat 20, which becomes a 22, which becomes, with a 1 rolled, becomes a 21. So that one does succeed. So, let's see, this one fails, this one fails, this one succeeds. Another nat 20, but a -5. So that makes it a 17, which I believe is a fail.
Mm-hmm.
Last one is a dirty 20 -4, so a 16. So all but one failed. What's the damage? I think it's how many D8?
48. And it's going to be 19 points of damage,
Okay.
and the ones who failed are blinded for a minute.
Okay, so that's going to be... And then... Okay, these guys are blinded. Okay, perfect. Thus ends your turn?
Yep. They can make the Constitution saving throw at the end of their turn, and if they're still in the wall at the end of their turn, they take 48. Wait a second. 1 second.
You were reading that last paragraph?
Yeah. Oh! Whenever I cast a spell that deals radiant or fire damage, I can add +5 to 1 radiant or fire damage roll of that spell.
Wait, where do you see that?
That is under my radiant soul.
Oh, yeah, that's because of your ability, yes.
Yes. So one of my rolls, I guess, will be a +5, so that'll actually be 24. Is that to all of them?
It's the you're adding the damage to the spell, so it would affect them all, yeah. So that's an additional 5 points of damage?
Yes.
Okay, I'll modify that.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just...
You can see that all of the Minotaur skeletons on your side, the bones are flaking away. Some of them are cracking, and then you don't see them because they're all obscured by this wall of light. Vale, you, however, have one Minotaur that just attempted to ram into you, and 4 more coming up behind it.
Yep. So I am going to move the moonbeam up so it engulfs as many of them as possible, if not all of them. If it'll actually pardon me, if it'll actually get into, it would actually reach all of them, then I'll try and finagle it so that they all get hit.
Let's see. So in each of your terms, you can use an action to move it up to 60 feet in any direction.
Yeah, so I can move it, and I'm just going to try and move it so it encapsulates as many of them, if not all of them, if that's possible.
I'm choosing to interpret this spell that since it's an active effect, you're moving it, and you're dragging it through each of these Minotaurs, and then stopping it at a point, correct? Because it's only a 5-foot diameter.
Well, it's a 5-foot radius.
It's a 5-foot cylinder. 5-foot radius, making it a 10-foot cylinder. So the way they're moving, at most you would be able to get 2 of them in the finish. But what I'm saying is, if a Minotaur moves through the moonbeam and takes damage, moving the moonbeam through a Minotaur would also make it take damage.
Okay, I got you.
So if you move it all the way to stop and catch the 2 that are in front of you, they would all take damage, is what I'm saying.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
So what I'm saying is roll 2d10.
Okay.
I will...
it's a damn good thing you're smarter than me, because Jesus Christ.
So that's going to be it. And...
Ooh, that's not terrible at all.
What's your save DC on that?
16.
Okay, so fail, pass, pass, nat 20, so that's pass, 13, so fail. So 2 of them fail, and 3 of them succeed, so
the ones that fail take 14 points of radiant damage, and the ones that pass take 7. Unless they have a weakness to radiant, in which case I can't remember what the weakness is. If it's double or if it's 1.
If it's a vulnerability, then it's doubled. But you don't see them taking any particular weakness to this radiant damage, other than it's damaging them. And you sort of stop it so that there's the 2 that that are still caught in it. Anything else? It takes an action to move the beam.
Yeah, no, I think I'll, other than drawing my rapier, I think I'll just stop there.
Okay, so roll 2d10 again.
Got it.
It's a fail, and that's a fail.
Oh, dang. Oh, this is the best roll I've ever had, rolling 2d10 ever. It's a 18.
All right, so they both failed, so that's going to be... Wait. Okay. So the two in front of you start their turn in this moonbeam, taking the additional damage. And they are each... All of them are going to move up on you, basically. And... Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they're all going to take a swing at you. It's just like a rugby scrum of Minotaur skeletons as they move in. And let's just start rolling these. Does an 18 hit?
It does not. The magic number is 21.
So a miss. Jack die. That is going to be a dirty... Nope, that's not a dirty 20. That's a 23. And a dirty 20. So only one of them hits. As for the most part, they're all in their eagerness to get to you. They are all going to sort of clash their axes together. Well, that is the wrong die. That's why. I also need you to roll 2d10 again, because that means they all moved through your moonbeam. The other 3, because they're idiots. So you are gonna take 20 points of slashing damage.
Okay, and they're gonna take 15 points of radiant damage.
All right, so that's
2-0, right?
yes.
Okay, just want to make sure there.
Okay. Yeah, these with the 6 intelligence, they can't figure out to stay out of this light. All right. That is that group. Now with your wall of light, does it have a physical surface then that they can't pass through?
And I don't believe so. I believe that they can pass through it. It's just if they end their turn in the light.
All right, so they're all going to continue moving toward you.
Yep. It blocks line of sight, but creatures and objects can pass through it. But they are blinded, the ones who failed.
Right. So, a blinded creature can't see and automatically fails any ability check that requires sight, and their attack rolls are at disadvantage. So, 3 of them are going to be attacking at disadvantage. 2 of them are going to move through. And is it at the start or the end of their turn?
At the end.
When they make the con save again.
Yeah,
Okay,
at the
perfect.
end.
So the 2 of them that succeeded come in and make attacks at you with their axes. That is a 25 to hit and a 23 to hit.
Is that with the D6 minus?
That is a 22 to hit and a 20 to hit.
Dang it. Yeah, both of those hit. Actually, can I get you to re-roll one? I feel like I'm going to die.
Which one do you want me to re-roll? The 20 or the 23?
The 23.
Okay. This is a tricky situation, but I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to roll both. So technically, let's see. It's a 4.
Okay, good.
You corrected that to a 4. The other one does hit you for 9 and 4 is 14, 17 points of slashing damage. The others are going to, the other 3 are going to attack at disadvantage. So that is a natural 20 or a natural 1, which means it's going to attack one of its companions. The second one is a 16 turned to an 11, which I don't think will hit you.
No.
And the third one is a 14 turned to an 11, which will miss you. So I'm going to roll the attack on the one, or the damage on the one that hits his companion. He rolls 24 points of damage. And it's going to be to this one. So one of them, blinded, swings around with its axe and cleaves one of them, shattering it. So one on your side is completely gone. All of them are going to make their Constitution saving throw again with the D6 subtracted. That's going to be and what's the target number on that? 17?
19.
19?
Mhm.
So that is a 11. That is a 16. That is a 19. So one of them succeeds. And that is just abysmal. So only one of them succeeds.
Great. The ones that fail take 20 points of radiant damage.
And the one that succeeds takes half?
I'm not sure.
Wall of Light.
Oh, they don't even have to make the save. Sorry. A creature that ends its turn in the walls area just takes 48 radiant damage.
Okay.
So, sorry.
They're all still in the target area, so they all take 20 points.
Yes.
After this
But
Minotaur...
they can make the con save, so that could be used to end their blindness. So
Doesn't matter. Blindness is useless, or the ability to see is useless if you're dead. So the one Minotaur kills one of its companions. What does it look like when the other 4 are destroyed from the effect of this wall of light?
I imagine that they're each all clamoring to get at Brilinya, and Brilinya's kind of has her hands in front of her face, like she's trying to protect herself from these blows. She takes a couple, but she pushes against them, and thematically, I'd like the idea that they all she manages to push one, and it just do 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 do, like kind of like dominoes, push the others into this light, and immediately, like in the old like 70s or whatever shows where they like beam people up in sci-fi, where it's kind of like that really weird pixelated looking effect. I imagine that. It just looks like they got beamed up somewhere, but of course they're dead.
I love it. Brilinya has old school 60s or 70s television effects.
Yeah.
As suddenly the 5 Minotaurs on your side are gone. That brings us to Taliel. Hold on a second, because since you went last, let me get back on track here, because I need to see where we are at. It was green, and then Qualu went, and it turned red, and then Brilinya went, and it turned black, and then Vale went, and it turned blue, and then the Minotaurs went. Wow. You're going to I need you to submit your horseshoe for inspection, because you have the golden key in your hand and the sarcophagus has just turned gold.
It's because she's wearing the Tomb of Annihilation sweater. It's giving her good luck.
Oh my gosh. 3% chance that you would find that key, and about maybe a 18% chance that the thing would turn gold on your turn. What would you like to do?
Do I see a keyhole on the sarcophagus?
You do see a keyhole on the sarcophagus.
Key will go into keyhole. That is
All right.
what Taliel will
I
do.
need to see what happens. Man, there were so many good and bad things that could have happened. You got probably the goodest. So, you turn the key. And when you do so, the sarcophagus opens. Inside, you see that the entire thing is filled with salt. However, something else happens. As you turn the key, gold light pours up your arm, encasing your entire body, and then just absorbing into you. For the next 3 days, you are blessed with the charm of treasure sense. You can use an action to pinpoint by scent the location of precious metals and stones, such as coins and gems, within 30 feet of you. As part of this action, you sense by scent that buried within the salt in the sarcophagus are 10 opalescent bracelets, each worth 75 gold pieces, made from the shell of a flail snail. And there is something else buried beneath, but you can't quite sense what with the smell what it is. But from the tale of the 9 trickster gods, you can determine that this is Unk, the flail snail's sarcophagus. So you turn the key, that's an object interaction. You can reach into the salt if you wish and dig around, since you know what's in there, basically.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's You said I can sense something underneath the bracelets?
Yeah, you definitely can smell each of the 10 bracelets. There's something else underneath there, and you know that each of these sarcophagi holds some kind of magical item that is imbued with the spirit of the trickster gods.
Okay, so I'm going to reach in and go for the thing that I know is below the bracelets at this point.
As an effect of this sense, and just with so much luck happening, as you dig through the salt, you manage to just sort of wend your hand through the salt in a way that all 10 bracelets slip onto your arm. They are not magical, so I'm not forcing any magical effect on you. But just as a way of sort of like in Kung, what is it called? I can't think of it. Kung, that martial arts movie that's funny from early 2000s.
Kung Pao Enter the Fist?
I think it might just be Kung Pao. It's not Enter the Fist.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Is it Kung Pao? I need to know this.
Is it the one that the guy has like the bracelets on his wrist?
Kung Pao,
pow, pow.
Isn't it Kung Pao Chicken? No, not Kung Pao Chicken. That's a recipe.
That's food. Yep.
What is this stupid movie called? Now that's all
Kung
that will come
Pao.
up.
No,
But I don't
it's
think it's
not.
called Enter the Fist.
Kung Fu Hustle?
Kung Fu Hustle.
Oh,
that's
that
it.
one. I thought you meant Kung Pao, Enter
No.
the Fist. That's
Kung,
the one that's...
Kung Fu Hustle. No, I'm going for less serious.
You want the
So,
bracelets on the
Yes,
guy.
it's like it's like the tailor's bracelets. All of a sudden,
Oh, that
you
guy.
dig in and you've got 5 of these bracelets on each hand, just shing, and you grab hold of what is in there. And while this battle's raging around, light is everywhere. You're still bathed in this gold light. You reach up, the 10 bracelets, shing shing on each fist. You're holding a magnificent robe of scintillating colors in your hands, and I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Ooh, charisma. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. So I got an 18 on the die, so that's a total of 17.
So you resist being Unk inhabiting your spirit. It stays within the robe of scintillating colors. But as you pull this robe out, slime begins pouring from the folds of the scintillating robe and forms into these multiple flail-like pseudopods. And you hear this female voice echoing. All of you hear this voice. I can help you. At least, I think that's what I'm supposed to do. But you resist its charm and are not affected by it. But you are in the possession now of a robe of scintillating colors. So you can add that to your inventory or choose to give that to somebody else. The robe of scintillating colors has 3 charges. It regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. While you wear it, you can choose an action to expend 1 charge to cause it to display a shifting pattern of dazzling hues at the end of your until the end of your next turn. During this time, it sheds bright light in a 30-foot radius, dim light 30 more feet. Creatures that can see you have disadvantage on attack rolls against you. In addition, any creature in the bright light that can see you when the robe's power is activated must succeed on a DC 15 wisdom saving throw or become stunned until the effect ends. So there's light everywhere in this chamber, flashing all over the place. As Taliel, the luckiest elf in the dungeon. Qualu, meanwhile, still wandering around inside this maze.
Hello? Anyone there? I got a 48. Help.
You're wandering and wandering, fog shifting around, and looking up, you still see Brilinya and Vale, but light seems to be surrounding them. But you don't find anything.
Hey guys, hello.
All right. Brilinya. There are 5 Minotaurs and a Moonbeam next to you, next to Vale. And down below, you see the brilliant flashing of lights, and you hear the voice of the trickster god Unk as you see down on the main floor that Taliel has appeared and opened the sarcophagus and is now holding aloft this robe.
So, Brilinya, having dispatched all of the Minotaurs on her side, is now going to direct the light beam. One of a beam of radiance will be launched from this wall and hit one of the Minotaurs that is closest to Vale. And I got a 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Perfect. And that is going to be 13 points of radiant damage. The wall shrinks by 10 feet.
And the Minotaur that you struck out at disintegrates as this beam of light It disintegrates but doesn't shatter. It just goes in that same 70s effect. Like when it gets hit by it, it's going roar, and it sort of freezes and dissipates. And there's a bit of a, and there's a slight stutter from Vale and the others, as if like they freeze framed while the effect was removed. Like they just sort of stutter for a frame. As Vale, you see one of the Minotaur that was directly in front of you just disappear. But there are 4 more there still.
All right. Sorry, is it?
I just saw the chat. Our side chat, 5 Minotaurs and a moonbeam. Sorry, that got me.
So I'm not in any danger of, like, if I back up of these creatures like going to hit me, right? Like I've got no like target attack of opportunity on me if I move back.
You do have 4 Minotaurs engaged with you.
Okay, so they are okay.
Yeah, because they had all gang piled on you. It was a sort of a rugby scrum. Only one of them is gone now.
Okay, well,
He left the band.
I'll keep the I'll just keep the moonbeam like centered right on 2 of them, or actually better yet, I'm wondering if I can like move it and then move it back.
They're all pretty
Probably
much
not.
ganged up in that space there. They're all
Okay.
going to be affected by it.
Okay, well then I'll
So
just leave it there.
So with leaving it there, you have an action. You haven't done anything.
Can I attack?
Yeah.
Well, dang, because you see, I hate the concentration thing. The concentration thing
So,
always
The way
screws me up.
concentration works is if you cast a concentration spell, then you lose the first concentration spell. If you get hit, you have to make a con save to see if you lose concentration, but you didn't get hit, I don't believe. And you can attack. You can also cast other spells.
As long as they're not concentration.
As long as they're not concentration.
All right, well then I'll attack. I'll strike out at 2 of the Minotaurs, or I'll make 1 attack on each one. All right, so minimize that window, bring you up, blam. So the first one's going to be a 22 to hit.
That's going to hit.
Radio. Just going to, not a D10, you silly. Do I really just have 1?
You have more than 1 attack.
No, I want to grab 2 D8. So it'll be 6 points of radiant damage, and it's going to be 15 points of magical piercing damage. So for a total of 21.
All right. How do you kill that one?
I'm thinking that I just quickly like hit into the eye socket, and then kind of like I just kind of flick my hand and just kind of like knocks the head straight off and just kind of collapses the rest of it into a pile of bones.
Absolutely.
And as I'm doing it, I'm going to make my other attack on the other one. But I'm thinking like I'm going to use the head that's still on the point of the rapier to knock the head off the other one, if that's even a thing. Ooh, that's a nice. I'll take that. That's going to be a 26 to hit.
Definitely a hit.
I accept. I just rolled like double 8s on my 2d8.
Nice.
So again, that'll be 15 points of magical piercing and 8 points of radiant damage.
And you succeed in knocking the head off of this one.
Yeah, and the other one just kind of splays out. And then that's it for my turn.
All right, roll me 2d10. And I'm going to roll con saves.
Sure. And that'll be 11.
What's the DC?
16.
That's a dirty 20 for one, and
Okay.
a 14. So one saves, the other one fails. So what'd you get? 14, you said?
11.
11. So it'd be
11 and 5. 5 on a success.
Yep. And this guy. Okay. So two of the 10 Minotaur skeletons are still standing there. They take this radiant damage from the moonbeam, and they are going to swing their axes at you. Good lord. That is a... Doesn't matter. It's a 2 on the die. That's an 8 to hit. That is an 18 to hit.
Does not hit. 21 is the number.
Again, these big Minotaur skeletons with these massive axes, they are trying to wield them in close quarters, and there's this clattering and clanging as their axes get caught up in one another as they try to pull them apart, and they are unable to hit you. Taliel.
Taliel, basking in this golden light, it's like, I've got it! And then she realizes the sounds of the battle going on upstairs. And she would look towards where she's hearing this noise and see Vale is being attacked by 2 skeletons at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's bones and bone dust everywhere. Broken battle axes, but there's 2 massive Minotaur skeletons attacking Vale. And Brilinya is right next to him.
My movement is 35. I don't think I can get... Can I get to them from where I'm at?
What's your movement?
35.
35. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You can just get to the top of the stairs. Which way do you want to go?
I want to go to, I guess, the left where...
All right, so you can just get to the top of the stairs, which puts you within 10 feet of both Minotaurs.
Yeah. While I'm running, I am pulling out my flail. But I can't. Well, I might as well dash and get right behind them. I won't be able to attack, but I'll get right.
Aren't you an archer?
Yeah, but it takes a long time to pull out my bow and stuff.
No, it doesn't. You can draw your weapon as part of your attack action.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that way though. Because
Okay.
I got the rope in one hand.
Okay. So you come up, charging up the golden glow is starting to dissipate, but this robe is sort of just still shimmering. You've got these clanging sound as you're coming up with all these, you're now wearing all these bracelets, and you reach for your flail, but you can't quite get to Vale. Did you draw the flail just because it's Unk, the flail snail's spirit?
And these are skeletons, but yeah.
So Qualu, meanwhile, no idea what's happening.
Hello? Anybody there? Come out, wherever you are. Key, come. Hello? That's going to be a total of 5. 05.
You continue to wander around inside the maze.
Hello?
Poor Qualu.
Better not be having a cow out there.
Yeah, your only options are to continue to search, or attempt to climb these giant walls to get out. But you've searched this round. That brings us back to Brilinya. 2 skeletons nearby.
Brilinya is going to. So I looked at the picture, and I think that she probably has 10 more feet of wall left, and she's going to use that to do another ranged attack against a Minotaur Oh, that's a nat 20.
All right. That is max damage. Plus, you get to roll again.
Oh, dang. Okay. Couldn't I have rolled this when there were so many of them? Okay. Math. So that is going to be 53 points of radiant.
What does it look like when the one Minotaur that had taken the least amount of damage is suddenly destroyed by your beam?
I imagine with this much force and damage that's behind it, the rest, the others just kind of phased in and out of reality. This one, it's just absolutely obliterated. It explodes in this. It explodes so fine that you can see the sparkles of the bones in the moonlight. You just see this like gradual sparkle of this shattered dust of bone and metal, and even the axe it was holding explodes as well. So it actually looks probably very, very pretty as it just kind of rains down over Vale and this last Minotaur.
And also Taliel, who had come charging up behind it.
So now you guys have like beautiful bone confetti.
Moonbeams and bone dust.
Vale, one Minotaur skeleton remains, and it's pretty badly damaged.
All right. Is the moonbeam on it?
It is.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and just attack it. You said just one remains?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. That is a 24 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. And that will be 8 points of magical piercing and 8 points of radiant. So 16 total.
How do you destroy this last Minotaur?
I imagine that as I go towards the Minotaur, I actually put my, kind of sheath my rapier, and I just go up, and I just, as it's starting to bring the axe up, I just kick the axe, and the spike that kind of protrudes out to balance the great axe just goes straight into the skull of the Minotaur skeleton itself, and just cracks the skull open, and it just falls and just shatters.
And with that, you are out of combat. Qualu.
Brilinya MVP, by the way.
Qualu, roll me a D100.
Hello? Anybody there? It's a 50.
You still find nothing.
Hello?
Um,
I'm not alone, I swear.
Go ahead and roll me another D100.
Hello? 58?
All right. What are the rest of you doing as you've destroyed the last of the skeleton Minotaurs and you see no signs of Qualu?
Oh, still must be trapped in that maze.
Oh,
I think so. But hang on. Brill, come here. And I'm going to cast Lay on Hands.
Yes.
So you're going to get... you're going to get 40 hit points. There we go. Confirm.
he didn't come out when I came out? I found the key while I was in there.
He hasn't come out yet.
I hope he's not trapped. And then she realizes she's holding this robe, and she's like, kind of looks at it, and she kind of she holds it out to Brill. Brilinya, I think this would suit you.
She kind of pauses for a moment, looks at it. This is beautiful. I can't accept this.
I can't wear it. It's a dress. I can't wear it. It'll get in the way. But it will suit you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And you can see she's actually like very happy as she like kind of takes it and puts it on. Kind of
As she hands the robe to you, you see these trails of slime begin to pour out, forming these pseudopods, as Unk's female spirit, the voice echoes around the chamber and says, "Hello. I think maybe I'm supposed to help you, and I need you to make a charisma saving throw."
Oh no. That's an 8.
You feel something bizarre happen as Ijin says, "Well, it couldn't last forever." And Ijin's spirit is ejected. Your dexterity score is going to go back to what it was. So you no longer have a 23 dexterity, which is going to have a trickle-down effect on a lot of stuff. However, as Unk's spirit enters, you get a sense of its self-absorbed and indecisive personality. You now have the flaw, I am incapable of making decisions.
Can't see you in real life.
So whenever there is a decision to be made, you are unable to make a decision. However, your constitution score is now 23, which will jack your hit points up to. So yeah, your hit points should suddenly jump quite a bit when you apply that new con score.
Doesn't do it automatically.
You may have it set to manual, so you'll have to accommodate for the fact that it's whatever that bonus is. I think you should be at like a plus 6 times whatever level. You'll have to adjust that.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
That math. So there's that. Qualu, roll me a D100.
I'm totally not lonely, guys.
Also, Brilinya, add a robe of scintillating colors to your inventory.
So I don't know if this is really good or really bad, but I rolled a 0, which I think means 100.
That is 100. As soon as I can figure out where my cursor went. There we go. Okay. So you rolled a 100, you say?
Or a 0.
You finally, as you're wandering around, you're, guys, where is everybody?
Hello.
Yet again, you end up at a dead end.
Oh.
And when you turn around, there's another dead end. And you notice, though, that there is a stone pillar rising 3 feet out of the floor where there wasn't one before. On top of this pillar is a black crystal key.
Oh, I found the key. Oh, I'm the first one to find a key. Oh, they will be so unhappy to hear that Qualu found the key. Qualu wins. And Qualu will grab the key very eagerly. I win!
If anybody needed this, it wasn't you. You appear suddenly standing next to the sarcophagus. Black energy, like a shadow, begins to wreath around your arm and encase your body. You all see and hear this popping sound as down below, Qualu appears next to the sarcophagus. You see black shadow energy encompassing his body, and you hear the voice of the ancient lich Acerak begin counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times you shall defeat death. As you have been granted the charm of 9 lives. Whenever you drop to 0 hit points as a result of taking damage, you can choose instead to go to 1 hit point instead.
I'm indestructible.
Once you do this 9 times, the charm goes away. That's what I said. If anybody needed this, it was not Qualu.
Oh, I can already do it once per day. Oh my goodness. I'm indestructible, guys. Oh. Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Well, pretty much just guaranteed. So, unless you get it stuck into a weird situation where it's one of those traps that you die, you come at 1 hit point, and then it hits you again, and you drop to 1 hit point, and it hits you again, and you drop to 1 hit point, I'm going to have to start devising one of these traps.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Right? So, this is a fantastic place to stop. I will say that there is still, in the stairway that you came down, there is still the wooden chest on the other side of, the other side of the acid pit. And you all will notice in that second image that I gave to you, you can see in the southeastern corner, where the skeleton minotaur came out of, that particular secret chamber has a hallway going to the east. Before we end, would anybody go down that hallway?
Oh, yeah.
So Taliel's heading over there. Is anybody following?
From a very long distance, yes.
Yeah, I'll follow.
And just one question though, as I approach that, the pit, there's the chest that's across the pit. Do I smell anything in the chest?
Let's see. 5, 10. Yes, it's 30 feet away. Interesting. Let me see. Yes, you do. You catch the scent of brass.
Ooh.
Something not too big, made of brass, and that has some sort of intrinsic value. You can smell the brass inside that chest. Will you change your direction to go to the chest, or will you continue down that hallway to see what's down there?
I would continue down the hallway, but I would note to myself that I'm going back for the chest.
And Vale is right behind. As you proceed down the hallway about 25 feet, you turn to the north. And after another 5 feet, you see a 15-foot by 15-foot room. Inside this room, you see and you hear This room contains a wooden cabinet with a numbered dial at its top set with 2 ornate metal spokes. Beneath the dial, a pendulum swings inside an open compartment. An egg-shaped stone adorns the pendulum's tip. This egg-shaped, what did I say it was? This egg-shaped stone, smells very valuable to you. It is a polished egg-shaped stone, that you're not sure what its value is, but it seems as though it may be some sort of fabled treasure. As you walk into the room, you watch as the gears begin whirring, and you see a hand go, and it settles on an exact hour. And you hear chimes within this grandfather clock. Bong, 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 bong. And I need Vale and Taliel to make Constitution saving throws. How far behind were the other two?
10 feet.
Qualo, are you right there with Brilinya or further back?
Probably about right there, yeah.
17.
Actually, hold on a sec there, because we're
You have
barely...
an aura of protection, don't you?
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to make. Yeah, you get a +4 bonus to your saving throw.
However, Qualu and Brilinya, being 10 feet away from you guys, will not get that bonus. But you are all within the area of effect.
So that would be a 21 then for me.
Right? Vale?
So that would be a 20. Let me just double check here. That'll be a 24 for me.
Brilinya?
Sorry, what saving throw was it again?
Constitution, which for you is suddenly very large.
That's a 19.
And Qualu?
Is 17? No, 21.
All right. So all of you simply hear the chiming of the bell, and nothing happens to you. Standing just in this room or just outside of this room with this valuable polished stone at the end of the pendulum, Taliel knowing there's some sort of valuable brass item in the bottom of that chest, that is where we are going to end this session. Episode 62, A Menagerie of Misfits. Woo, what a session. There were so many things that could have gone bad. Brilinya, I never thought I would see your hit points at the level they are at now. You more than doubled your HP.
Yeah.
And you now have more hit points than anybody.
Even me, and I feel sad now.
I just love how I have a strength of 8.
Right. But another thing, as we are preparing to end, thank you, 20 Sides to Every Story. They just rated, or just hosted. I thought they rated. But thank you for the host with your 7 viewers. We are just ending our session, but if you want to stay tuned on what is coming up next on Mini Terrain Domain, make sure you hit that follow button up at the top. We are currently at 815 followers on Mini Terrain Domain. We are rapidly approaching 1,000 followers on the channel. We have 42 subscribers, 8 more subscribers. And 20 Said to Every Story just turned that into a raid, which is what I was looking for, because that means you guys have just earned another domain die. So there we are with the raid. With 8 more subscribers, when we hit 8 more subscribers, we will open another emote for the channel. So thanks for the raid. Fantastic. Sorry you're raiding us right at the end of the game. But it was a phenomenal session that will be available on the VOD. Brilinya trading out Ijin, Trickster God Spirit, for Unk, gaining that 23 Constitution, more than doubling her HP. Also gaining a robe of scintillating colors. Both Qualu and Taliel gained special charms because of the keys they retrieved from within. And you would all notice, would have noticed, or no, you wouldn't, because you left the room, so never mind. You're in the room with the clock now, so yeah. So next week we will be returning on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern with episode 63. This campaign has been going on for more than 2 years at this point. And we're in that last 20% of this campaign. Thank you for the compliments. Some of the artwork for Vale and Brilinya is courtesy of Locrius, as is the artwork for the Green Devil head, which you can get a t-shirt if you go to our merch store. You can get that. I was wearing it earlier, but I'm not wearing that shirt right now. I'm going to type merch. If anybody wants it, you can get this Green Devil face here as a t-shirt. That is by the unmatched, unparalleled, one-of-a-kind Locrius, who also did all the artwork you see around here. And then the artwork for Taliel and Qualu is courtesy of Runehammer, our friend Brandish Gilhelm, from his Heroes of the Hammer supplement available on DriveThruRPG. And then the overlay and all the other effects, artwork, and everything I do myself. So thank you for the compliments. Tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, provided everybody is available to play, we are wrapping up our All That Glitters Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign, part 1. Tuesday night, you will want to tune in to Dice on Ice on YouTube, because myself and, well, actually everybody but Mike will be over there for our Curse of Strahd campaign happening over on M's channel. Wednesday night, I will be over on A Fistful of Dice YouTube channel for part 2 of our Star Wars Bounty Hunter game Quarry, where I play the Viren Tokima, the heavy-set Twi'lek pilot of a band of bounty hunters, run by Matt Click using his Hyperspace D6 system. Thursday night, of course, is our Dawnbringers game. If everybody is available to play, there's a 99% chance that is going to be our Season 3 finale, with Season 4 coming up in a few weeks. Friday night, actually is going to be, I will be over on Nerdarchy along with V, the Crafting Muse, and a few others, as Ted from our Dawnbringers campaign is DMing the Nerdarchy RPG Crate game. So as you can see, we got a whole bunch of great stuff going on here on Mini Terrain Domain and companion channels. Check out Jasper's Game Day, because that event, the current world situation will possibly affect the in real life event of that. But we will be having one full week, 5 days, 60 hours, 20 GMs, over 100 players, all raising money to support suicide awareness and provide funding for crisis centers around the country. Be sure to follow me at MTD_Jake to stay up to date on all of that. with that, I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight, everybody hang out in the chat, or if you're watching this in the future, thank you for that. And the hugest thank you goes to Mike, M, Kaeryn, and Connor for always being the awesome players that you are, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for 3 hours. So thank you for that. I'm not entirely sure that they're real, other than the fact that I have met them all in person, or else perhaps they would be figments of my imagination. And I am just here talking to myself. With that, we're going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.